Okay, so we have our dough that we had made. We let it autolyze for 20 minutes. Just added in 2 teaspoons of salt, mix it up with the hands. And I mentioned in the last video, you could tell the dough's kind of starting to take shape here, right? It's actually a lump of dough. And it's at this point that what I like to do is you definitely want to stretch it out, knead it with your hands. You want to make sure it's nice and mixed so all the salt is really spread out across all the dough, right? We just want it very uniform. What I'll do is take the spatula again, scrape a little off the bottom. Don't want to lose any of this goodness, right? A little bit in there, it's not a huge deal. If it starts to lump up, you can kind of leave it. But then the key part here is once this is nice and mixed together, and again, I like doing this with my hands. You can, if you want, put it onto a floured work surface and roll it and knead it and kind of push it around. But at this point, we just want to make sure it's uniform with a little bit of kneading going on here. Stretching, kneading, folding. And this is something that, you see those old school bakers with the big, strong hands. I'm a IT guy, so I have computer keyboard hands. Doesn't go quite as well. But eventually you want to make it, kind of rough out some edges. And I'm going to put it into this metal bowl here. Now this guy's got all the flour and caked on there. From this point forward, this is going to be a pretty cohesive bit of dough. And what I did with this bowl is I took Crisco, and I'm always an olive oil person, but olive oil just doesn't work from a no-stick perspective. I took the actual hard Crisco and just took a paper towel, wiped it in here. So now when I go to take this out, it comes completely out. And that's going to be key because in another hour or two, we're going to fold this and kind of work with it, take it in and out of the bowl a few times. Much easier to do it this way than you would to do this way. But for now, we're going to cover this guy with a towel. Let them sit. And the point here is that time and temperature are 2 of your ingredients. So I let it sit right here. It's about 60, probably 65 in my kitchen. It's going to take a little while. You can put it into an oven with the light on. Ideal temp is kind of between 75 and 80. So during the summer, not as big of a deal, but colder months, things like that, you want to do it. Now, look, you could also do it in the fridge. You could have it in the fridge for 24 hours. You could do it at 60 degrees for 5 or 6 hours. You can do it at 80 degrees for 2 or 3 hours. The point though is if it gets too hot, too fast, too warm, too quick, it'll bubble and rise too much. You end up with overproof dough. You don't want that. So what I do is, again, leave it on the counter. I've had the oven on today, so there's probably more in the 70s in here, and just kind of let this go. An hour from now, we're going to take this off. I'm just going to do it now to show you. The dough will have risen a little, and you're basically going to take it and kind of do one of these. Pull it and fold it over the top. And that's going to look a lot better the next time we do it because, again, the dough now has a chance to start rising and activating.